Balancing a handstand can be a real problem, and even if you can balance a handstand, improving your balance can literally feel like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing on repeat over and over again, hoping for a different result each time. And while there are things that we can do to help over the long term, such as regular practice, getting stronger so that we can hold ourselves up easier, or improving our shoulder mobility, there are also things that we can do to immediately improve our ability to balance handstands, as well as increasing our handstand hold time so that we're actually holding a handstand, not just falling slowly. With the handstand, it can sometimes feel like we have so many cues and drills to remember. But today we're going to focus on things that give us positive results in the immediate term, starting with a strange one, hanging. Now, why on earth would hanging improve our ability to balance? Well, actually, hanging is most beneficial to your handstand if you sit at a desk all day or if you naturally slouch. In a handstand, the better we can create this long, straight shape, feet over knees, over hips, over shoulders, over wrists, the easier the balance will be. If you have natural areas of tightness, we'll struggle to create the sort of symmetry that allows for easier balancing. Hanging from a bar for 20 to 30 seconds in a complete dead hang not only yields the benefits of decompression, but also stretches out these natural areas of tension, all while our hands are overhead, making it far more transferable to the handstand. This is one that I've used with many people who have helped teach how to handstand, and is probably one of the less well-known ways of improving our handstand stability. We also need to ensure that we have sufficient space around us. Now, this may just seem like common sense. If you're going to handstand, make sure that you don't kick anything or anyone. But this goes beyond personal safety. Handstands are a highly neurologically demanding skill, particularly for beginners, and it takes very little to pull us out of the mental state we need to be in to maintain balance. If you can barely hold a handstand as it is, but you need to divert some of your attention to making sure that you don't kick the coffee table behind you, or that the person that walked past you is a little bit too close, you will make it harder for yourself. Wide open spaces with few distractions allow for far better balance for beginners. In a similar vein, we want to make sure that we're warming up before our handstand practice, particularly our wrists and shoulders. If we jump straight into our handstand work but our wrists and shoulders are a little bit tight or they're not quite warm yet, we may hesitate to go in for the level of wrist extension or shoulder flexion necessary in a handstand. Warming up with something like wrist circles or even a simple chest to wall handstand better preps us for what we're about to do in the main part of the training session. Prepping the wrist also makes it easier to grip the ground with our fingertips, something that will instantly make the mechanics of handstanding more understandable. It's natural to want to create the biggest base of support that we can in a handstand, and so as beginners we tend to spread our fingers nice and wide in this flat-palmed, sorry excuse for a handstand. But actually, if we sacrifice a little bit of that surface area in our base by gripping the ground a little bit, what we lose in base of support we gain in our ability to create force. This force generated from pressing down with our fingertips stops us from falling over ourselves, much in the same way that our toes do this job when we're standing up. And this is crucial to improve our handstand balance and handstand stability instantly. Because of the pressure and force that we need to create in gripping the ground with our fingertips, the surface we handstand on is just as important too. Beginners are more likely to want to balance on soft surfaces, and I get it. Falling on our face hurts, and soft surfaces like a mat or cushion give us the confidence to kick up. But the honest truth is, the soft surface is hurting more than it helps. We know that if we stand on a soft, plushy surface, balancing is more difficult. Well, it's the same when it comes to standing on our hands. Soft surfaces are not only more likely to be less flat, but it's also harder to complete the micro corrections that you'll need in order to remain in a handstand. Here, we can literally see that the soft surface just absorbs much of the force that gripping the ground gives us. Handstanding on a hard floor is significantly easier and removes the challenge of having to overcorrect on a soft surface, making it not only easier but also more efficient to hold a handstand in this way. And if actually you've got any fear around falling on a hard surface, then I'll leave a link down below on the best way to overcome your fear of falling in a handstand. Quick one though, which of these two things do you feel would be easier to balance lengthways on your hand? Naturally, we'd say the pen, right? And actually, when it comes to handstands, this speaks to the get tall principle. Making ourselves as tall and tense as possible in every bit of our handstand practice makes us more like the pen and less like the sweet. Locking out the arms means that we're not having to make corrections at the elbow as well as the wrists and shoulders. Pushing tall through the shoulders makes it significantly less tempting to lean towards your more dominant side and forces us further into shoulder flexion. Bracing the core means that we aren't leaking energy on our midsection and better connects the top and bottom portions of our body, all of which will improve our stability and improve our ability to hold a handstand for longer. Now, if you need help learning how to handstand, you can check out my website, calisthenics.com, and drop any questions you might have down below in the comment section. And if you want to see how all the handstand exercises and progressions rank against each other, then check out this video right here.